inmendham video. Been some period of time since the last one, so I guess all of them never happened. Yeah, I never made videos. It didn't happen. Not an experience. Even though we have recordings of it and you can see that it happened, it never happened. So yes, Anacondavod's doing his nihilist thing, and that's all it is. Just demonstrate. You can't prove you're a nihilist more than just obliterating the existence of the future and the past. I mean, you know, that's a lot of stuff where the present is almost what happened to it. I mean, it's, you know, can't ever get a good grip on it. Anyway, these comments are just obnoxiously, yeah, it's just horrid to read. So maybe I'll read some comments. Maybe I'll do that first. What the hell? I mean, the video is simply just, you know, spends 11 minutes just going, where is the past? It's gone, so it never happened. And so how could it possibly mean anything? And how could suffering in the past mean anything? How could anything be anything? It's not anything. It's, where is it? I don't see it. Like, that's supposed to impress somebody with a brain. I mean, rationally, you can just say, what is life? Life is experiences. Some of the experiences happen in the past, some of the experiences will happen in the future, and some of the experiences are happening kind of nowish. And they're all equal experiences. They all have their moment in the sun, so to speak, you know, the on period. And why should I be impressed with when they happened as meaning something? And why should I think they have to happen forever? The experience has to happen in the same individual forever, or it doesn't happen. I mean, if I kept making new individuals and, you know, they just popped up, or they showed up at my house and I had the plague, right? If we had plague, and somebody showed up and gave plague to a little kid, and then the little kid gave, when it got older, gave plague to the next little kid, and they just kept giving plague to each other forever, well, then the plague is real. But you know, if 10 billion people have it, or, you know, 1 million people have it in the past, well, that doesn't mean anything. This is the past. You're not still having the plague, so no plague. Plague doesn't mean anything. No, there's no logic to this. These experiences are experiences. They go into the bucket called experiences had on planet Earth, and it's a fact that it happened. It's not an unfact. And the catch is, the bucket isn't finished, and we have the ability to learn from the past. I mean, these are cliches, but damn, come on. Of the cliches in the universe, those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Wow, pretty fucking good cliche. I mean, that one's, you can't go wrong. Yet these people think that's wrong. The past is to be, hey, can't see it. Where'd it go? Gone? Didn't happen. Kind of thing. So yeah, the point is the bucket ain't full, and the future is the thing in the air. You know, it's negotiable. That has something to do with this conversation. These conversations decide what goes in the bucket. And you know, you can be reckless, ignorant assholes and put bad stuff in the bucket, or you can be smart, use your brain and say, let's learn from the past and not put plague in the future bucket. Let's not put unnecessary suffering in the future bucket. Wow, was that too much to ask, though? Wow. I just, you know, people are just pus. So, 9 positive thumbs up, 0 thumbs down for a video saying, where's the past? Didn't happen. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. 50 million people in World War II suffering and dying. Who cares? It's nothing besides not just acknowledging it, which seems a little bit of a courtesy. Somehow, the fact that it's not in our heads means it didn't happen. Not that it's been being ignored. No, it didn't happen. It's not in the bucket of experiences. Yeah, it is. Again, it's just, so you have to suffer, like if I suffered for, like say I was tortured for 1 billion years, if that was possible, 1 billion years. The day after, the day I'm released from my suffering, these nihilist kooks would say it never even happened. A billion years of it. So unless I do it forever, till the end of time, they will negate its existence. Because it isn't some sort out of durability or something. What can you say? I mean, it's just such a desperate evasion. Anyway, fiddle, riddle, or whatever. I'm utterly obsessed with time. Whatever. With a capital T. Time. Whatever. Because the idea of time represents the conceptual unification of life and death. Oh, how so? Oh, not in any way I can possibly imagine. Time is God. Oh, okay. Well, it's not a very sophisticated God. Let's just say that. The closing of the circle, which brings the remembered past. Well, if it's not remembered, the whole point is remembered or not remembered. Did it happen? Didn't it happen? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, the perceived present, the anticipated future, together. Oh, yes, you anticipate the plague, so to speak. Financial catastrophe or global warming. You're just sitting there, I can't wait. Into the terrible trinity, the what? The terrible tyranny, to trinity from which there was no hope to escape. Together into, I don't know what that means, the great god Pan. The great god Saturnus, who devours his own progeny. This is all just a little too poetic. Yeah, whatever, Roger. The ancient days, Yahweh, the great I am. Time is everyone marching to the tune of the Lord High Executioner. Well, it's going a little dark. It's the altar of stone. Every living soul is sacrificed. I don't even know what this is like. It's all just poetry, of course, because when all is said and done, poetry is all there ever was. That's not a very good cliche. Learning from the past so you don't repeat it. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Poetry is all there ever was. No. That's stupid. Retarded, that's what it is. But poetry may be enough, says Endicantavad. So it's enough. Hey, I can tell a poem about 3 little piglets, and one of them happened to be a girl, and they got her very pregnant all the time, and then they used the piglets to make a bridge to the future. Yeah. Poetry is enough. I agree. Poetry has the power to save a shipwrecked life. I am just, ooh, that hurt. That just really hurt. I mean, doesn't that always make it all okay? You just get one of those poems, right? After we killed thousands of people, we'll just put a little poem, we'll stick a little poem on their little mutilated corpses. So comforting. Oh yes, indeed. There are lines in a poem or a song that resonate and fire the imagination. I lap that stuff up. Well, mistaken procreator, you are a bit of a fucktard. Anyway. I mean, see, this guy's supposed to be an anti-natalist. The guy's just made a nihilist video mocking, essentially, suffering. Just mocking it. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah. We're obviously not on the same team. The past lies the foundation of time, supports the bridge of moments. No, it doesn't. The past is just experiences, once again. Now, you could argue that there's a bridge called knowledge that might get you out of trouble in the future, but that's not what this guy's talking about. So you're not on the subject again, little quinka. So this one was the best one to do in the morning. The skankiest of the cunts. Yeah, she should be declared a saint. I know they have to be dead, but she's brain dead. That's technically dead, right? I mean, something's dead, so there, that's enough deadness. But yeah, they ought to make her the saint of fucktardia. Suffering is not a thing, so that it cannot exist. Suffering is not a thing, so that it can or cannot exist. I mean, quite honest, so that it can or cannot. I don't even. Well, she does have a foreign language in her head. People exist, they live, with all that this entails, and it entails a tremendous lot of experiences, not just suffering. Well, again, he's negating both of those, okay, so it doesn't matter. Well, that's the joke of his video, right, is that if suffering disappears because you can't find it, I could go, where is millions of years of human sensual pleasure? Where do I find the book of millions of years of human sensual pleasures? Fornications and such. All those words, all those different, positions, cream pies and, apple dumpling and all the different, names. Where is the book of all that? Oh, there's no such thing. It is unusual to be obsessed with suffering. Well, you're saying people are obsessed with suffering because they recognize it exists. That's being obsessed. And to think and talk only about suffering. And who does that? Cowards. She calls people cowards, which is, hilarious. They're annihilating the existence of all the bad news so they can just continue to be pigs and slobs. And she calls those people cowards. Cowards are the people who take responsibility. They know they're driving too fast. They slow down and say, oh, I'm going to be responsible so I don't kill people. They're drunk and they decide not to get in their car. That's a coward because he's learning from the past. Cowards may be obsessed with that, or somebody with a severe case of presumed suffering avoidance disorder. Well, exactly. So what's this presumed suffering avoidance disorder? Somebody who's rational enough to understand that behaviors have implications. There's statistical research to prove that some of the implications are very, very bad, and that you have to be very, very careful in your interactions with the other sentient creatures on Earth. That, to you, is a disorder, because you're a fucking skanky retard. Skanky cunted retard. Alright, anyway, I wonder if anyone has even looked into that, what suffering is. Wow, he said that. I wonder if anyone has ever looked into what suffering is. Like, we have to do research. Like, our life experience doesn't explain it enough. Experiencing it isn't enough of an explanation. This is a guy who's had 10 years of severe depression. And he finds it not, what was that anyway? Was that anything? Yeah. Fuck. It is such a general concept. There are infinitely many forms of suffering. Some of them we would not want to avoid. I don't know. You have a choice. Yeah, you wouldn't avoid a negative experience. You always have the option of my favorite fun time. So I give you the choice. Your favorite fun time are suffering. And there's times where you'll say, oh no, give me some of that suffering, please. Yeah, silly. For example, a woman knows how painful and dangerous it is to give birth. Yeah, and some of them say, shit, what a rotten deal I got. And still she willingly gets pregnant. That's right, because you're nuts and crazy and silly and sick. You're like the fucking... the girl, Three Little Pig. Yeah, you're a pig, and you make your little piglets to serve you. You're not doing them a favor. You're doing yourself a favor because you have some sort of little clock ticking in your head. You fucking got worms in your brain. A man knows that to create a family may mean he will have to work more. Suffering. Obviously, we know that tons of men say, how the fuck did I get into this mess? I obviously didn't learn from the past. I didn't learn from other men's mistakes. I can find lots of those people. May mean he would have to miss going out with his mates. Suffering. That's right. Hey, that is real suffering, I must say. Working 10 hours a day for a 10-hour job to, give your kids shit so they can call you a smelly old fart bag. Yes, that is depressing. Yet he still does it. Yes, and why does he do it? Because he's a moron. Kids have kids, retarda. You didn't notice that? That the older you wait before you allow a girl to get pregnant, the more likely is she's to have the reasoning capacity to say, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that. It's a mistake of ignorance and youth. Retarda. So mistaken procreator again. What a jackass. I never thought of avoiding suffering or presumed suffering as a disorder. I don't even know what that means. I never thought of avoiding suffering or presumed suffering as a disorder. Well, it's not a very well written sentence for an Englishman, but I guess what he's saying is, I never thought of avoiding suffering, maybe a comma, or the idea of some sort of presumed suffering, having, I don't see, I mean, presuming suffering, maybe you have to put here, you have to make it a verb or something, as a disorder. So he's not thinking that it's a disorder to avoid suffering. And clearly it's not. I think suffering is inevitable. Well, you know, to degrees, of course. I mean, you know, it really does. You can put the label somewhere, and, you know, some kinds of suffering, some people are lucky and don't experience as individuals. That's true. Inevitable in the system, yes. That isn't a revelation. I avoid it when I choose. I avoid it when I choose, unless I get on my bike and cycle over the North Yorkshire moors. Yeah, poetry again. In the teeth of a gale and a horizontal sleet. Then suffering is a pleasure. Ha. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Point is, all these assholes haven't choked their last puke. And until then, all this talk, all this big, bald bravado about, you know, no problem, is just talk. Time is the element of the dying God. I would just this guy's got to go away. It is what he suffers from. It is also what he cries out more of in his agony. Let there be time, saith he. Whatever this is. I don't know what this is. Your notions of your masochistic and sadistic God. Anyway. So they're, yeah, nihilists are often sadomasochists, which doesn't make much sense either. Oh, Carla the puke. The riddle of time, the riddle of consciousness, and the riddle of truth are somehow intertwined. Oh, yes, it's all too much for your fucking... whatever. From any given vantage point, the guy shouldn't be too big in it. From any given vantage point in space-time, oh, there's no space-time, you loser. I agree that the past is gone. It is unreachable. We just have memory to testify to what it was. Yeah, well, essentially the past is the same way, so, I mean, the present. You can't really grab it. You know, by the time I'm talking about it, it's already over, obviously. But whether the past nevertheless exists concretely despite being unreachable, that is a genuinely open question. I don't know how it could possibly be an open question. We know the past happened. There's video of it. I mean, are you really going to worry about it? It happened. The experiences happened. They were as real as the experiences happen today, and as real as the experience will happen tomorrow. That's the only rational conclusion here. And why would I negate them? Why would I say they don't mean anything? I'm clearly worried about the ones I will have in the future. They clearly have significance. So why play this idiotic game? How to settle the question? Oh, Jesus. Winston Smith initially thinks that although reality is mind-dependent and there is a true version of history that the party can't really tamper with, the past has ceased to exist. Well, again, why should that be relevant? Experience, when it ceases, means it never happened. It just doesn't make any sense for me to think that's the way the world works. It's insane for me to think that's, the tornado stopped tornadoing, therefore it never was a tornado. Well, yeah, the house is blown down, but there was no tornado that did it. No. The party's position is that the past is just whatever a collective of constructs that holds to be the past, but hold that the past has early ceased to exist except in the mind and in the records. Well, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to. What, you think the past, because somebody doesn't remember it, and it wasn't written down, that somehow it didn't happen, and that somehow it's more happening because you remember it? No, you're just remembering it only provides opportunity to do that learning thing. If you're remembering and just going, oh, woe is me, that's totally useless. But if you're learning for it and correcting your behavior based on it or something like that, the present can benefit from the past. But I don't think the future can benefit from the past, but I don't think the present can do much with it. Whatever, this is just so bad. As far as Caesar's suffering, where is it now? It is as if he never existed, never experiencing that suffering. It is as if he never existed, never experienced that suffering. I don't know how it is like that, but whatever. As if life injected ketamine into him in a large, continuous dose. So he went unconscious, and that somehow means... So if I'm in a car wreck and my wife is killed and my kids are crushed in a little bloody goo, as long as I go unconscious, no problem. I broke my leg playing football. I don't know what that means. Apparently I was in agony, distress, but I have no recollection of it, so therefore it didn't happen. Fine. I mean, if that's the way you want to look at the world, retard, go. I mean, I can't stop you. And if that's the way you think it would be an okay way to live the world, like that wouldn't be like almost the worst Mengele trick that could be played on you. You know, Mengele tortures you and then takes away your memory. And he does things, and you say, well, I don't remember being tortured, so go ahead, Mengele, do it again. And then he explains it to you, that's what he did. I mean, he shows you the videotape of you rolling around on the ground screaming. And what, you're going to still say something stupid like, yeah, go ahead, do it again. That's the thing where you don't learn from the past. I mean, we're smart enough to know that forgetting about your suffering doesn't mean you didn't suffer. And doesn't mean that if I had a camera and I took a picture of it and I showed you the picture now, that wouldn't scare the fuck out of you. I know you keep asking this question in the threads, but it's a valid question in my opinion. I don't know where that is happening, but whatever. It's just, I just don't get people. Time is man's idea, thought, dream, fantasy of God. Oh no, I'm going to stop reading, Roger. I mean, this is just, how many comments on one video, all a bunch of pussy bullshit. Past, present, and future are frame-dependent notions. So this is another one of these guys who thinks they're dimensions. At least according to special and general relativity. Fucker. All events are embedded in four-dimensional block that exists timelessly, so to speak. No, it just goes into the we did that, been there and done that bucket. There's a bucket. It says been there, done that. And stuff goes into it. And again, we sit here at the present deciding what's going to be put into it tomorrow. That's what we're doing. We're tomorrow's injector. We're the thing catapulting shit into the bucket tomorrow. But that's it. And the bucket is what it is. The history of mankind on planet Earth is going to be a story. And the events all happen. The story could be told in tremendous detail if some recording device recorded it all. And it wouldn't be, oh, that didn't matter, and that didn't matter, and that didn't matter, because it's all in the past. Fuck you people. The physicist Sean Carroll wrote a blog post about this a while back. Oh, I'm just sure that's just so fucking fascinating. Fucking prick. Alright, the past is in the mind, the future is in the mind, the present is in the mind. No, they're experiences that happen in minds. The past isn't in your mind. You didn't see most of the past. 99.9999999999999999999 of the past is not in your fucking mind, or in anyone else's fucking mind. But it still happened. Gung-ho. Fuck. Shove that tar up your ass until dead. That's O'Brien's and the party's view, certainly. I guess they're all doing 1984 or something. All facets of time, like all facets of reality, exist only in minds of the collective. Control all the minds, so the idea goes, and control all reality. Well, again, you're not going to control reality in any other sense that has anything to do with the learn from the past thing. So, in that sense, you're not controlling reality, you're just blighting reality. I mean, you know, exercising unreason on the future, I don't know if that's something you should call controlling reality. I mean, controlling is when you're driving and steering and stuff, right? Controlling isn't brick wall. I mean, you're not going to say, boy, he had a real controlled trajectory when he drove the car right into the brick wall. It is one big assertion-based dogma, but of course the party in 1984 is in the position to simply correctively torture or kill anyone daring to question the dogma by considering the possibility of mind-independent realities that the party can't control. Yeah, whatever. You have to have a gang to do that. So the party is not just two people. The party has to be a bunch of people willing to do these things. So again, that's where this whole story breaks down, is that they all have to be willing players in I'm too stupid. And as soon as enough of them are not too stupid, the game won't work. I mean, you're more likely that it's the authority that's going to have the problem keeping all their soldiers. It's like the new Star Wars movie. One bad, whatever they're called, clone guy, and the whole thing goes to hell. Does the party control the Andromeda galaxy? O'Brien blithely refers to distant stars as bits of fire and a few kilometers away that the party can stuff out if it chooses to. I suppose it means that the party could make it so that one can perceive the stars any longer, control all minds, etc., etc. Well, like I said, you can only do that if people are willing participants in a silly dance. I mean, when the emperor's not wearing clothes and the people get up and they just start marching and doing all, I mean, that's the, they know. So they're obviously just playing along because they're not intelligent enough to admit, I'm not going to do that. As soon as I get an opportunity, I'm not doing that anymore. This is stupid. So, I mean, as soon as the gun's not pointed at me, I'm going to try to figure out how to point a gun at the guy who's pointing a gun at me. Or whatever. You people don't know shit about anything. Of course, you wouldn't understand how a revolution works. Anyway, let's just play. I won't play too much of it, because it's just he just drones on through the whole video, just keeps saying, "Where's the past? Where's the past? Where's the past? Where's the past? Where's the?" Who cares?
Where is the past? Where is not so much where are the events that took place in the past, but where is the past itself?
All that ticking stuff is in his video. Where it is? Where is it? Where? It's in the bucket of experiences that took place on Earth.
I'm not so sure that a lot of people have ever actually confronted that question.
Why would I look for something I'm already know exactly where it is? It's back there. I mean, I know where it is. It's behind me.
One is reminded of, again, Zopfian anchoring.
No, they're not. I'm not.
Anchoring. To say that this is, our collective view of the past is sort of a mythology upon which we assess.
Yes, your view of everything is a mythology. Not just your view of the past, your view of the present, your view of the future. They're all just mythologies. You don't have anything like a rational, realistic perception of reality. You're a mythologist and a fucking nihilist.
The future, or we use the past as the only means at our disposal, or seemingly, to deal with the present and the future.
Well, I mean, yeah, gee, it's seemingly our only tool. Wait, I think that's the way it works. That's right. Because what are we going to do? Ask God what happened?
Sure. But where is the past in relation to the present?
Behind the present. Past is behind the present, and the future is in front of the present. There. Did I get a prize? I found it.
Not the events themselves, because that's a sort of a diversion, but...
Okay, so now we've had enough, right? The past isn't the events. The past is something other than the events. There's some other meaningful element of the past that we're missing out on besides the events. I wish I could go to my home planet. Yeah, if I'm ever king of Earth, I'm gonna call this shithole what it is. Fucktardia. Shithole. Stay away. Plague. Okay, that's enough. So, till next time. Sorry, another discouraging, hopeless ending to a video. Oh, there really is. People are too stupid. Too fucking